Oh, hello, and welcome to Al Dente Rigamortis. I'm Review Cultist.
I'm Mikey, the East End for Evil.
And I'm the gamer in yellow.
And we're here to discuss those internet stories, most creepy and most pasta, and be critically silly doing it. And tonight we have Halloween 64. Now, some of you might be wondering, Cultist, Halloween was last week. Why are we doing another one? Well, Halloween 64, on top of not being really a Halloween-esque creepypasta, is also is one of those ones that I picked up off the definitive creepypasta iceberg from a while back, and is in fact a Vigipasta. So it appears to be some kind of a cursed video game creepypasta. It merely uses the Halloween 64 logo or title as like it's the game that the character encountered at the time. Although apparently the name shifts or the game itself changes, both like media and format for the player.
So I thought it was going to be like Halloween as in the movie Halloween.
Yeah, like it's just like a cursed like N64 version of like Halloween from like with Michael Myers and such.
Yeah, I looked it up. I'm like, there's no Halloween game for Nintendo 64, so I don't know what cursed game he's trying to find.
Yeah, exactly. So Halloween 64, it's by Rhaegar on NoSleep. Rhaegar is spelled RHA3GAR in standard, leet or internet lingo or internet spelling.
It's Rathagar.
Is it I guess it could be Rathrigar, yeah.
If you want to pronounce the three, Rathrigar.
It's like some of those like Slender vlogs where it's like tea time, where it's like it's T, which is like T3A or T3A, and then it's like and then time. Mm-hmm. Or I think there might even be like a 2 in there somewhere, but silent.
Silent 2.
Yeah, silent number. Yeah. Or like 502, which is like 5 and then 0, but the O is a 0 and then 2. Like the number 5, the word 0, except in the word 0 it's 0. Like the O is a 0, like the number. And then
you understand you're explaining lead speak to someone who knows lead speak, right?
Fair enough, yes.
It's fine. I get it.
However, also Rhaegar is also J Speziale on creepypasta.com. So you can check it out at either NoSleep or creepypasta.com, and I invite you to do so before you start our episode. But
we'll wait.
Yeah. Welcome back. With that out of the way, I guess we should give our initial recommendations. I'm going to recommend this one.
I'm not going to recommend this one.
I am also going to recommend this one.
I gotta have like some drum roll playing. Yeah. Goddamn. Well, let's dive into this and find out why we gave these recommendations the way we did, and see if those change over the course of our discourse. Starting with the rundown, featuring I guess Rhaegar. It's not exactly Nair, but it's since this is kind of done up in it was done like I read this on NoSleep, and that's the whole gimmick of NoSleep is that the narrators are the protagonists or the characters at least.
You're right.
So the story is a warning and instructions on how to survive if you find yourself with the same cursed video game popping up in your life as Rhaegar's. This game will appear at your door and can assume the form of any game cartridge or disc. For Rhaegar, it was an N64 cartridge with no label or writing on it. When Rhaegar played the game, it opened as a Halloween 64 title, and he couldn't turn off the game, or even the console or the TV, or even leave his house once he got into the game itself. Entrapment. You have, according to Rhaegar, you have 10 lives, and the things that happen in the game happen for real. Cue, you die in the game, you die for real. Stay alive slogan. There are currently three levels to this game. Level 1 is a neighborhood, and you just have to keep walking through it, avoiding the creeping darkness. And in real life, keep your concentration glued to the screen and keep playing no matter what tries to distract you, or you will lose a life. The game until
Hours.
4 hours until the game
That is
itself,
important.
4 hours until the game itself gets bored and eventually sends you to level 2. In level 2, it's a house. These levels are personalized, or all these levels seem personalized to the player. So, like for instance, the neighborhood is Rhaegar's old neighborhood from childhood, and then the house appears to be one that's familiar to him as well. And you must collect all the weapons in the house, but you can't equip any of them, or your character will commit suicide and you will lose a life. It should also be noted that, like, as you lose life, the first life you lose, it'll actually kill any pet that you have first in real life. And then moving forward, like, you'll just get sicker and worse. Like, you'll feel like crap, or get sick, or like have nosebleeds and all that kind of jazz. The more lives you lose. So it's just not a fun time as you're playing this game. At all.
Owner.
Yeah. And then once all the weapons are found in level 2, you will move on to level 3, which has you in front of a bed where a personalized person of some affection or affiliation to your life lays, and you must kill them with a weapon from level 2. Killing them means winning the game, but you physically feel the sensations and pains of harming and killing this person. And that's about it. The game presumably goes off to a new victim. Rhaegar kind of passed out at the end of after they finished the game, and I guess the game vanished. And now they're posting this online, hoping that it might find somebody and warn them, or at least give them instructions in case the game comes across their path. Finn. So, that's Halloween 64. And I suppose we'll move on to...
Everyone tolerates the Grammar Inquisitions!
At this point. Now, I have a very serious question for all of you guys. Did you categorize your notes by level? No, kidding.
Of course I did. Why wouldn't you?
I did not.
I didn't.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I was tempted to, and I was like...
Story.
Yeah, I was tempted to, and I was like, no, I don't. It's not really that necessary.
No.
But
I appreciate the gag, though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, after like the last days of October with all the chapters, could not just like do that. So, I'm going to start with this thing for Grammar Inquisition. Be prepared to witness every terrible experience of your past, all of those things you have repressed, forgotten, and maybe even went to therapy to try work through it. So I feel like it should say, forgotten and maybe even went to therapy to try to work through it.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of twos in there, but I think an extra 2 actually would help that sentence.
Do you mean extra 2 twos or just 1 extra 2?
Well, 1 extra 2, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I hate the English language.
Too many 2s, throw 1 away.
Yeah.
See what I did there? Kids throw 1 away, not 2.
Ah.
I'll move on to the next
You want to
thing.
get rid of the 2 twos?
Yes, this is
Don't
not
look good on me. I tried.
and this is not a ballerina creepypasta, so let's move on.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start with this. My next one here is like the former levels. I believe that it custom tailored to the person who is playing. So I think it should say, I believe that it's custom tailored to the person who is playing it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or I mean, alternatively, it could be, I believe that it custom tailors to the person who's playing it, because it's like kind of like it's like either making it just changing up a little bit, like so, like but like not like changing the tense at all or anything like that. So,
actually prefer it that way personally.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then my last one here. I saw the body of my best friend who passed away 10 years ago. I believe that's. I saw the body of my best friend who passed away 10 years ago. But
Wait, what is it otherwise?
I believe the body of my best friend who passed
Oh,
away
yeah.
10 years ago. Yeah, a little caveman speech, but that's fine.
It happens.
Yep, happens to the best of us. But that is the end of my grammar inquisition. So, Mikey, the E stands for evil.
I have an it story.
And now, an it story with Mikey, the E stands for evil. Take it away.
It can disguise itself under any platform and does not abide by the rules of our universe. It had manifested itself into a blank Nintendo 64 cartridge with no writing or sticker logo and was placed outside my front door with no note or instruction. It also displayed a few fake dev companies like Eulogy Inc. and Last Breath Software. It does not matter how hard you pull, it will stay locked in place. It is best to not equip them, as your character will only use them to commit suicide, thus resulting in the loss of more lives. It took me 20 minutes to stab them to death, and I could barely hold the controller when it was over. Finn.
Wow. So I kind of got the impression that like he was just stabbing this cartridge 20 like for 20 minutes until it died.
The way that I saw it is like he's describing like whatever it is, and then he says like it's the cartridge. Then like it's on his front porch, but then it's like it's a blank cartridge, but it's also displaying the titles of different devs. So
Yeah.
I don't know if those are like holographically floating over it, or if they're actually on the cart. And then it's like pick it, like you can't pick it up or something like that, no matter how hard you try. So like he's bending over trying to pick it up, and it's just glued to his porch.
Yeah. Fair.
Those are the kind of weird visuals you get when Mikey grabs all the sentences in the story that start with words that they probably shouldn't, like its, ends, or buts, because there's always better words to use.
Indeed. Gamer, what do
Being
you got?
said, this one's sort of informal, like
Yeah.
because it's just like whatevs.
Yeah, I mean, this is like borderline a ritual pasta.
Oh, it's it is.
It's a ritual pasta, but it's not like it's a warning about like it's like all right, look, if you find yourself in this situation, here's how you get it. Here's how you progress through.
Yeah, it's a protection pasta.
Yeah, it's a ritual. It's a helpful ritual pasta. It's not one that's like a conventional one where you're trying to like summon something. I should bring this up in my actual thoughts a little bit, but
An anti-ritual pasta, technically.
yeah, yeah. Okay, there needs to be like that needs to be a subgenre within that subgenre of creepypasta, which is already a subgenre of like literature and medium online. Called instruction pastas.
Instructional pastas.
I mean, and like technically, like a lot of analog horror that's coming out nowadays might even like fall into that niche because like a lot of it is instructional like videos or like that kind of like VHS instructional video format on how to deal with like certain supernatural threats. So like actually that I think that already exists. It's just called analog horror. Or at least analog horror falls into that category. So
yeah, because this isn't analog horror.
no,
actually,
this
is it?
I mean, no. This is definitely if this was done in like again like a grainy like video format with
I don't know what he saw exactly, the graininess of it.
No. I mean like the instructions. If they were done up like an old like instructional video.
Yes,
and not like post on Reddit NoSleep or something like that as a warning kind of thing. Like,
but the story itself is analog.
Oh yeah, the story
like through an old cart.
Kind of, but I mean, again, that's like analog horror is more about like the instructional aspect of it, like the old analog like VHS instructional videos that you see that you'd get at work and such.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Although now I think about it, like also like those like PowerPoint presentation things and those like quizzes that you have to do for like WMIS and stuff like that, like at work nowadays, I think those might actually fall under analog horror if you were to make them like an analog horror thing as well, because they usually do them like they're usually like from like a couple of years back when like it was like not analog but like old school like internet styling or like old school like computer like instructions. But I digress. So gamer, do you have any grammar in yellow?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
It's like it's sort of grammar, sort of not, but regardless, I'll read this quote. Like former levels, I believe that it custom tailored to the person who's playing. Again, this level remains in first person view. You will enter a bedroom and see a person lying on the bed, asleep. They may resemble a loved one, a friend, or yourself. So, I'm bringing this whole couple of lines up, few lines up, I guess, because like the wording of it seemed weird to me, specifically because like if this game is custom tailored to the person,
Yep.
This like whole level layout could be different. It could not just be the person that's different in the level. Like how also like how does Nair Rhaegar whatever know that it can only be a loved one, a friend, or yourself? Like this line is kind of talked like Nair made the game.
Yeah, maybe there should be like an added bit where like the game tells you like you must kill you must kill your loved one or something like that, or you must kill your friend kind of thing.
Well, that doesn't matter because
Yeah.
like again, if these levels are custom tailored to the person, how would Nair know all the different variables? Because he only has one instance of it. Like technically he does know all the variables because Nair is also the writer in real life. But yeah.
The game the story actually does explain this in the first line. I had heard rumors of the game's existence on various gaming sites and message boards, but I had never guessed it to be real. So he could have read other people's accounts.
You know what? That's fair.
Yeah.
Okay. Because yeah, just
but that's a good point.
Going through from him going through on his own experience of this, not reading other people's accounts, it would seem weird to assume that it could be this or that or the other.
Yeah, unless they had like in-depth knowledge on the like the mechanics of the game. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's sort of like, and actually, I'll even like that falls like, are you the creator of this game? Like, are you secretly the creator? And just like, what have I done? Oh no! Like, here's the rules, guys. I fucked up. I'm sorry. Which actually, that would be a really cool idea. Like setup is just like the creator. It's sort of like Frankenstein's remorse for like creating his monster.
Yeah,
like Dr. Frankenstein.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, oh shit, I done fucked up. I gotta write down like some notes, some instructions, some warnings. I gotta get this out. I actually kind of want there to be a story like that somewhere.
Also, though, to counter you, if he heard rumors and read about it online, other people would have done a walkthrough of what happened, and he wouldn't have lost as many lives as he did. For example, walking into the dark at the first level, like he would have known if other people did it.
I mean, like again, it depends on like how like because some of those a lot of those accounts online, like I don't know if you've ever read like well we read stories like this all the time on like message board like from message boards or gaming sites presumably, where it's just like random stories or like just like an encounter. It's like, hey, I had this weird thing here, like but like sometimes the walkthroughs or like the supposed walkthrough can be incomplete. So it like doesn't tell you everything, but like just gives like some details about like the levels and stuff like that. So,
or what I'm trying to get at this whole time, is every level is completely custom tailored to the person. So it doesn't matter. Like, yeah, the first level in this was during a Halloween walk, but like if I picked it up, it could be freaking anything. I mean, it's called Halloween, but for all I know, I could plug it in and it would say Christmas 64. Like,
yeah. or like for you, for gamers specifically, like it says my version of the game has been titled. It's titled itself Halloween 64. Yours could have been Warframe 64, and so like level 1, it's a mission where you have to run through an endless corridor like ninja, like as a Warframe ninja, but you can't like deviate at all, and like there's a creeping darkness coming at you. And then like the next one is like a retrieval mission in like level 2 where you're trying to like gather up these like the different like items and stuff like that are on the map. And then number 3 is you have to kill. Suddenly, like the Lotus is there, like on the bed. You have to kill her.
Yeah. Fair.
The Lotus is also your mom, no. Or your Lotus is also like a loved one kind of thing. Yeah.
The way you said that reminded me of that Tilling the Soil remix from Game Grumps. The Lotus is your mom.
Yeah. God damn it. Well,
You said it with like the same cadence and everything.
Yeah. Well, you've had that like stuck in your head, so
Yeah. But yeah. Also, since this is a recounting of past events, shouldn't the tense also have it all be in the past, not in the present?
I honestly didn't bug me as much in this than it should have probably, but yeah, you're not right. You're not wrong. It should all be kind of past tense, like yeah.
Either way, the way that I rewrote that entire bracket that I read, to put it in the past tense, which I felt better, and to explain that this isn't set in stone, is like this. Like former levels, I believe that's custom tailored to the person who's playing. Again, this level remained in first person. I entered a bedroom and saw a person laying on the bed asleep. For your playthrough, they might resemble a loved one, a friend, yourself, or God knows what else.
Yeah, that works.
They're basically saying, like, it could be anything. I don't know. This is what it was for me.
God, that'd be so fucked up because, like, again, like earlier on, it says like if you lose your first level, any pet that you have would die, like first, and then like you get into level 3, and like the thing that you cherish most is in the bed. It's your dog. It's like,
yeah,
but your dog's dead in real life from like losing a life. So it's like, game. This really doesn't have that as much gravitas after you like kind of like, what's the word? You kind of blew your load the first in like the first level.
You say that, but would you even be able to do it?
Oh, that's true. Yeah, obviously, even if it's like simulacrum, like a digital simulacrum, I could not.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it's still like I'm just saying, like I mean, the person's already dealt with that trauma in real life, like moments ago, or maybe hours ago, depending on how long it took them to get through the game.
Oh yeah.
But at the same time, also like grieving doesn't end after a few hours, so like it could almost be like opening the wound fresher. Like,
yeah.
all right, your dog's physically dead, and now time to kill its soul. It's like, oh. If that was the loved one or the cherished person that was on the bed.
Yeah, it's basically like the creepy demon thing sprinkling salt on the open wound.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Let me just hammer this home.
Mm.
This misery machine that it is. That's what it is, really. It's just a fucking misery. It's literally like the literal interpretation of the saying a misery machine.
Yeah. It's like, what's it even getting out of this? But that's a note for another day.
I think that's an actual
Pardon
thought,
me.
honestly. Yeah.
Yes. But that's all I got for grammar, honestly.
All right. Well, on to actual thoughts then. So I'm going to start with the first paragraph of the story, for the most part. I had heard rumors of the game's existence on various gaming sites and message boards, but I never guessed it to be real. I spent a little over a year trying to track down a copy, but came up empty-handed. That was until a few weeks ago when the game decided to find me. I am here to beg you, do not go looking for it. If an unfamiliar game shows up at your door, leave it be. It can disguise itself under any platform and does not abide by the rules of our universe. If you are unfortunate or stupid enough to play it, I will provide instructions below to hopefully give you a fighting chance. This is the most creepypasta-y creepypasta to ever creepypasta. It's got so many tropes in the first paragraph alone. Like it definitely feels like a love letter to this type of creepypasta, like cursed vigipasta with a dash of, again, like the ritual pasta, but like not exactly a ritual pasta, more of like an instructional pasta. And so like I again, like I'm really digging the vibe of the story, just like already with in the first paragraph, because it's just like, this is the most creepypasta of creepypastas. Like you got like a guy looking on a message board, trying to track down this creepy game. the game finds him, like, and it's a video game that changes its form to like match you, and if you die in the game, you die for real, kind of stuff. And again, like the tropes go on throughout the story. So it's like this person, whoever, like, for the author, like writing this, like this is clearly like a love letter to cursed Vigipastas, or at least that's how it feels like to me. Um, although I do have to ask, like, I understand the appeal of trying to hunt down creepypastas, like actual creepypasta artifacts and such. But why? Like, after you've read all the the rumors and heard all the rumors and stuff, the stories about this game's existence on message boards and stuff like that, and you spend a year trying to track it down. It's just like, but why? Like, if you're aware of what it does, what is the benefit?
Well, to basically see if it's real.
I guess, yeah, like that's, and again, like I also understand that angle, because again, like, I'm me.
Let's believe.
Yeah. But also, and also something that I'm actually going to bring up now, because it didn't hit me until like we were talking about like literally moments ago. This thing's a fucking psychic vampire mimic. I think that's how I would explain this thing if I was to throw it into like throw this kind of idea into a game scenario. It's a mimic, so it can assume the form of like any video game medium or thing to be played, and then it has some kind of like minor reality altering like effects, but also I guess the thing it gets out of it is like the misery of the player. So like the psychic energy of misery and pain, like emotional pain, of the player. It's definitely something that would have like been created by like something from like the madness dimension in D&D. If it was like tossed into like a D&D modern game. But and then so yeah, like all of this story like seems and like I said, like the story seems mighty appropriate for me as I live and possibly die for this sort of scenario, or so I thought. And then we got later in the story, we get this quote here: certain aspects in the game will be mirrored in reality. Any pets you own will die as soon as you lose a life. Never mind, I no longer want to find this game.
Yeah.
Even I have limits, and there's not a line I'm willing to cross.
It's only a problem if the pet dies, so if you just don't suck at video games, you're fine.
Yeah, it's literally the get good scrub.
Yeah.
Yeah. But moving on to the next part of my notes here, we got this quote here. The main title screen showed the words Halloween 64. Press start. In text made to look like running green slime. How very Goosebumps of you. Like, I immediately thought of like that font or like that logo kind of brand like style of for like of the dripping green font.
Yeah, you're right.
The next thing I have here is any door or window that leads to the outside world will be inaccessible. My front door would not open, and all of my windows became shatterproof. So, you know what would be actually cool, like how they explain this, is if the game, again, like I said earlier, like if the game asserts some level of like video game level physics to the localized reality. So like doors to the outside and windows are suddenly just decals on your wall.
That's so cool. That's a really cool idea, actually.
That would be that would be like so fucking good, because it's just like suddenly your house becomes like slightly low poly. Yeah. And it's just a decal. I'm glad that you got that. You enjoyed that.
Yeah, it's really cool, because right now it's like everything's blocked off.
Yeah.
Because everything is blocked off, but like that gives it like a legit reason as to why, and ties it into the same like thematic vibe that this creature or whatever it is doing.
Yeah. Also, I Halloween 64 came out in 2017, so it did it first. But this kind of also brought me to mind the movie Skinamarink, which is a very creepypasta-esque film in itself. We should actually cover it sometime on Al Dente Real Talk. But basically what happens in that movie, is the kids in the movie find out that like all the external doors and windows have been removed from their house. They just like cease to exist, and so there's just a wall where a door was or where a window was.
That's pretty
So
good.
kind of brought to mind that. Except add a decal of like a low poly door and window. That would be like so cool. And then the next thing I have here. As you lose more lives, you will get sick, very sick. I became nauseous. My head started to pound, and my nose began to bleed. The more lives you lose, the worse you will feel. But you must keep playing. I can only conclude that losing all lives will result in your actual death. Again, see the stay alive quote. You die in the game, you die for real.
You're saying like he can only conclude that. Pretty sure he knows that if he's been like researching this beforehand, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, because he's clearly like was looking for this game, so he knows some stuff about it from like rumors and stories that people mention online. So
He doesn't really reference back to it much though. Like he just basically says, like after the first reference of it, it seems like he's never experienced any of this stuff before, so he's just flying by the seat of his pants.
Oh god, I just had a terrible idea for like again throwing this into a scenario or something like that, like maybe a Cthulhu Dark game or something. The game, it's a LAN party. And somebody brings this weird game they found on their doorstep to the game. And it's a 16-man link-up game. And so like because like again like you die like it says like the first couple of things is like a dog will die, like your pet will die and some of that. So it's like what if you're in like a room full of like people watching you play the game? Do they start like dropping like flies every time you lose a life?
You're playing like a PvP game, and like you shoot someone in the game, and they drop dead for real.
Yeah, exactly. Oh god, yeah, this is because this can assume different forms. So like it just becomes like a Halo game that like somebody found. God, I may need to like take some notes for that for like a scenario.
Yeah.
It seems pretty cute.
Well, the only problem I have with the assumption that you die is how does he know this? Because I mean, if you were to die, you can't post on the form that it kills you.
Well, he's basically just assuming it. Like I can only conclude that losing all lives results in death. It's like yeah, he's basically just assuming the worst.
Yeah.
Possible that someone witnessed their friend go through the game and die.
Yeah, like yeah, maybe again, like if somebody watched somebody play, maybe not necessarily like they will die as well because they're like in the room with him, so like they could basically observe the effects and then kind of relay that. It's definitely an assumption, though. I think in the on the part of this character, and you know what
It's very
what
much
that
an
means.
assumption.
Yeah, and we all know
Mhm.
it makes an ass of you an umption. So
Mhm.
it turns out, like as soon as he like if he loses his last life, it just resets and your dog's back and like everything's fine. And you're like, and the game's just like back at your door and it's like, I'm just gonna close the door and just nope.
Yeah.
It's
Money on your coffee table. Like it's just all good.
Yeah, it's just like, hey, it's like sorry you couldn't beat my game. Bye.
Yep.
That would actually be the big. I think actually I would like that. Like actually, if that had turned out that way, just as well, because like that would be just the biggest like fuck you.
Yeah.
And that's what you want in a horror game or a horror story is like the sort of like the like you're the character is perceiving the worst. So it's sort of the thing of like you get bit by a zombie in your arm, and you assume that the infection is through the zombie bite. So you lop off your own arm. And then you find out later that the zombie bite is not the infection vector, it's something else. And it's just like, oh. Well,
Right.
shit. Yeah. Yeah, that kind of thing is just like again. That's the big like the that's the classic fuck you in a horror story.
Yeah.
And like we're like your assumption fucks you over. It's like again like yeah, I could name off a bunch of different like scenarios. It's like in Return of the Living Dead. It's like why did you think that killing it, shooting in the head or damaging the head would kill it? It worked in the movie. You mean the movie lied? Yeah. So anyway, moving on to the next thing I have here. When the game gets bored of level 1, it will end without notice. The timer on the screen shows that I ran for 7 hours and 26 minutes before it ended. So this game's just, yeah, it's like I said, it's a misery machine. This is hell. Like, I don't think I'd be able to last level 1. I think I'd go through all my. I think I would probably lose all 10 lives in level 1.
Depends.
Because
It depends. Do you have an elastic band nearby?
I feel like the game might like this game's already supernaturally like something, so it's like I feel like it would penalize you for doing that.
Yeah, for cheating technically. Yeah.
Yeah, like the band, all the rubber, like you try to do that, and the rubber bands just snap, and then slap you in the eye, like just like the ricochets into your eye. It's like you've just one less life.
Yeah.
But yeah. And then this part is from level 3. It took me 20 minutes to stab them to death, and I could barely hold the controller when it was over. So apparently, this game gives the person in the bed the same life bar as a Dark Souls boss. Yeah, it takes like 20 minutes to stab a person. It's like Jesus Christ.
Seems excessive.
Yeah,
I mean,
that is the ridiculous.
Part of that is because like as soon as you do a stab, you're hurting yourself, so you have to like recover from you hurting yourself.
Yeah,
and then go again.
Yeah, fair. So like you're and like I think the issue is like unfortunately none of the weapons that you acquire are like high lethality weapons. Like, it hurts. Like it's gonna be an arduous death.
One to straight up knife.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Even a knife, though. I mean, like it's not like a gun. Oh god. Yeah, even if it was a gun, just like shoot him in the face, and then like. That's only like a bit of their life, but like you feel the shot to your head. That would be pretty fucked. I will say I will commend it. That would be pretty fucked up scenario. Just like if you're in that situation. But yeah, it's just like the length of how long it took to like kill this person with stabs was just like what is this, like a Dark Souls boss or Demise from Skyward Sword? Jesus.
Yeah. The answer is yes on both.
Yeah. The games it's like Eulogy Games, Last Breath Studios, NSoft. It's just straight up the guys who make Dark Souls games.
Software?
Is it from Software? Yeah, from Software. Sorry, NSoft I think is the guys who did Guild Wars. But I digress. I'll move on to my last actual thought here. I remember reading "Game Complete" on the screen just before blacking out. I'm not sure who the game will choose next, or if it already has. I just pray that they will read this before it is too late. Wait, where'd the game go? I kind of mentioned this in the rundown I had. I'm assuming it vanished while they were blacked out, like because it's clearly some kind of supernatural thing. Parading as a video game, but it never actually says in the story or in his account that the game vanished without a trace. It's just like it goes from like the game complete, he blacks out, and then immediately to the next sentence is like, I'm not sure who the game will choose next. It's like, well, wait, where'd the game go?
It just sort of disappeared. And if that's the case, fine. But I feel like you should mention that. Yeah,
like it's like when I came to like. The game was nowhere to be found. I scoured my room. I even scoured out, like outside my house, which I could now get out of. But nothing. And then like I can only presume that the game has moved on to a new victim.
Or would the wording be like after completing the game will be gone and you will not find it anywhere? Because it's supposed to be an instructional video, right? Not a story.
Yeah, it's an instructional pasta. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think that that's the one part the end that kind of caught me. Is like, well, wait, hang on, where'd the game go? But
yes,
yeah. But that's the end of my actual thoughts. So, Mikey, D stands for evil.
Yeah. So, continuing on with that whole, he passes out from exhaustion at the end. Like that for me sort of ruined it because what's to say that this whole thing isn't a dream?
Don't do this to me, man.
He was feeling
Well,
pain.
what's that? That's
He's
true.
saying
I
like
suppose.
yeah.
20 minutes solid, he was feeling pain
like
from
yeah.
me stabbed.
So like yeah, first off, 7 hours, over 7 hours of just like concentrating on walking and like running through a level. And then like incredible pain from every time he lost a life. And then even more incredible pain from like having to stab a loved one in a bed. And feeling all the pain that entails themselves. So it's like I kind of get why they blacked out, but yeah, also like I can kind of see where you're coming from. It's like, what if this is just like they were just like on a video game, like they were on a marathon of a game, and then they crashed, and then they had this nightmare about playing a game, and they couldn't tell which was real and
Yeah.
what was reality. I
And
get
what
you
if the
because
pain is just seeing red? Because
yeah.
it's video game logic.
Yeah, and like I get it because like I have definitely had those kind of dreams where like it's very hard to discern what was reality or like it kind of fucks me up for a little bit like in my when I wake up because like I think like what I experienced in the dream was like also real because it was like that close to a mundane thing.
Mhm.
Like the scenario, the most of the stuff in the game in the dream was like a mundane thing to a degree where like what happened in the dream that was a nightmare felt like it could have been like the realm of possibility or could have even been a memory. But I don't know. I think we're supposed to not take it that way. I think it's supposed to actually be that it's obviously like an actual supernatural thing, but I hate that you brought that up now because now that's in my mind. Thanks. I hate it.
That is the thing he does.
Yep.
Either
Mikey has the power to make something better or ruin it entirely with mundanity.
yes.
Yes.
And today, Mikey chose violence.
Mhm.
Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's all you have.
I'll criticize him.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Because yeah, like it's a lot of the stuff happens in game,
Mhm.
and then he's just feeling stuff, and it's like, well,
Okay,
who
hang on.
knows?
No.
Who hold on? Who knows if he's just super exhausted because he was working previously? So he's done a shift at work. He comes home playing video games for over 7 hours. So the pain is just that he really needs to poop or
He's having nosebleeds and like shit like that. Like
You
maybe
think
he's
it's
having
blood.
a
It's not.
seizure.
He's got to go to the bathroom. It's got to come out one way. He's
it's coming out his
punching
nose.
down there, so it's coming out the nose.
What the fuck? Ah, you guys are ruining this. God damn it. No, I see.
Yeah.
I was actually commending this story for like actually addressing. Why the hell were those not in my notes? I thought I had taken notes about like this story. Like, did I not? I did not even read that part. Oh shit! I actually missed a whole section, a whole thing that I had. Where like
So you missed a whole section of the story.
no, in my notes, like I had a whole thing about like I was commending the story for like, for addressing or fixing some of the gripes that we have had in the past for regarding certain Vigipasta tropes, like explaining why don't they just like stop and even like go away, like leave the game or something like that, or like having the game actually affect the player directly and not just in a game or in like a melancholy like
Yeah.
sense. Like the game is actually physically affecting this character, or this person, this player. And it's not just like, oh, I feel sad. Like they're feeling the pain and like having nosebleeds or losing a dog or like or a pet or whatever.
Yeah, how
Because
do you
they lost
explain
a
the
life.
dog death?
Yeah, like it was just its time. Choked on a chicken bone.
Yeah.
Gave him so long, forgot to feed it.
Yep.
Imagine it grabbed some grapes or grabbed a whole thing of Oreos and just like died of the chocolate. But no, I think the game is the game is real. But no, like I don't subscribe to the dream it was just a dream situation. I think it's supposed to be assumed that it's an actual supernatural threat.
Especially because they like researched it and everything before. So
Yeah.
but that also like gives credit to Mikey's point, where like if he's obsessing over researching this and then he goes to sleep,
And then
he's going to be
he has a
dreaming
dream
about it.
He has a dream that he finds it on his door, and God damn you! It's it's sort of the mass hallucination, or like even like some of the other people's like stuff on the stories and stuff like that. It's like that. Have you seen this man? Have you played this game? Like that dream, that like kind of like that, because like so many people have like talked about this like character or this thing in their dreams. Other people start dreaming about them.
Yeah.
Again, I hate. Thanks. I hate the dream theory.
I'll say this though: if the pain wasn't brought up, I might have like sort of subscribed to that, but I don't. There's pain.
Yeah, but it was pain.
Mm-hmm. The pain has set this free.
God damn it. But yeah.
So that's into my actual thoughts.
All right. Gamer, your actual thoughts.
Yes, about those. So the first paragraph, basically saying there's rumors of the game. He's like, but it's real. And then he says, do not go looking for it. It can disguise itself under any platform, doesn't do any rules, blah, blah, blah. If you're unfortunate enough to play it, it'll provide instructions, how to give you a fighting chance, blah, blah, blah. But like after reading that first paragraph, technically that is the whole story, if you think about it.
Yeah.
It's quite a mini pasta. If you, but like you could technically stop it there, and that is the whole story.
I guess, yeah,
because that is describing, in a nutshell, the world that we're put in, where there is some creepy game going around that is fucking with people and going from person to person.
Yeah.
Like that is described entirely in that. Everything else is just stretching that first paragraph out.
Yeah, that's what stories do, sir.
No.
Like they have an introductory thing, and then they explain like the rest, like what happened, what they introduced into a full story.
Oh, I know. I'm not saying that this is a negative. I'm just saying after reading that first paragraph, it felt like that's like the whole gist of the whole story.
Okay.
And just reading the rest of it is just going to give context to everything, which is fine. But like through reading the first paragraph, we basically know everything that's going to happen in a way.
Yeah,
like he's going to get the creepy. He's going to get the creepy game. He's going to survive. Like obviously.
I guess that's also like why it's kind of a ritual pasta, because it's like it's the format in the format of the story is a ritual pasta, in that it's a set of instructions, and like it's almost done up like a thesis. So like here's my introductory paragraph, and now here's everything that explains my introductory paragraph, and fleshes that out.
Yes. But I'll move on.
Okay.
The game decided to present itself to me on a Sunday at 12 a.m. It had manifested itself into a blank Nintendo 64 cartridge with no writing or sticker logo, and is placed outside my front door with no note or instruction. How did it present itself to you at midnight? Like, it says it did, but how? Like, did you just so happen to walk out the front door in the middle of the night to see it? You probably would have stepped on it if that's the case, because it's dark and it's a small thing.
Unless you have a light on or something. Yeah.
Did it make a noise when it appeared? Did it call to you verbally, or just with vibes that you feel like there's something out there? It just says it presented itself. Let me finish.
I know. Yeah.
It just said it presented itself to him, but no explanation of why. And I bring that up because we need to know why, because this is meant to be a warning. And the very first thing you need to know is the calling card of it showing up. So how can you avoid it if you don't know specifically how it shows up?
That's true. Yeah.
Because right now the only preventive warning is when you see it, don't touch it. Or throw it out or something, or don't use it, I guess. But
yeah.
I feel like we need to hear about how it actually shows up.
Yeah, honestly, like looking at that sentence again, like the part where he comes, it's like, do we really need? I mean, what's the importance of Sunday at 12 a.m.? Like, I feel like that's unnecessary compared to what we actually should probably need. Is like, does it knock on the door? Is there like a phantom knock at the door, and then like you open the door and like nobody's there, but there's a cartridge at your door on your doorstep, like that kind of thing? Like, I get you. Like, I'm definitely with you on this. It's like,
Yeah.
needs a little bit more on like how did you stumble upon it at, because I didn't realize the Sunday at 12 a.m. I was like, wait, that is midnight. What the
That's
hell?
midnight. Yeah, that's not noon.
Like, yeah. Were you leaving for like work, like at like, or like do you work an evening shift or something like that, and then you like came upon it, like? Because like I've had that where like I've opened my door, my front door in the morning and stuff like that, and like there will be a surprise like package like right at the doorstep. I was like, oh, just put this away and.
Yeah, but a package is one thing.
Yeah.
N64 cart's small.
I mean, I have very small packages about the same size as a N64 cartridge that have popped up.
Still.
Yeah.
And if you theoretically have a concrete front step and the gray N64 cartridges on it, you might not see it.
Then
regardless, that's not the big point here. The big point is we need to know how it shows up. Was it a thunderstorm outside and he heard a really close thunder strike that sounded like it hit his front porch? Oh no, what happened? Oh, what the hell?
Why is there
something?
Yeah. It just like, oh my god, now it just pictures like it's like kakatoom, and then like you like go outside, like, what the fuck? And you look outside and there's just this like black scorch mark, and in the epicenter of it there's just a game cartridge. It's like, oh, that's
slowly close the door.
That's a red flag if I've ever heard it.
Well, I think it might be more along the lines of like you hear that happen, you go outside to investigate,
and you
like
stumble.
You walk past it. Sorry, you walk off your front porch, you see a tree down or something. You're like, shit, I'll have to deal with that in the morning. You turn around to go back inside, and there's an N64 cart there that wasn't there a second ago.
Yeah.
Or something like that. There needs to be something described.
Or even like it's taped to your door. Like, so you can't like step on it or anything. So like you open the door and it's like, huh? And then you look and you notice there's something off about the other side of your door, and it's like, oh, the hell's this?
You know, it'd be kind of cooler is if just like it presented itself to him, and don't do this front door thing, because the whole front door thing goes nowhere is the other thing.
Yeah, that's true.
It does nothing.
Well, it's like a delivery kind of like it's a generalized delivery kind of like scenario. But yeah,
you want to know a spookier delivery?
Mm-hmm.
You go, oh, I want to play some Mario Kart. Hell yeah! Where's my games? You pull out your game drawer. Sitting on the top, there's a blank N64 card. All of a sudden,
yeah, yes, like it just it's already in your house.
Yeah,
out.
Yeah, and you've already researched this, and you know what it is. It's like,
how'd this come from? Yeah, no, I think that's actually that's even creepier. It's just like, again, it ups the supernatural elements. Like, I don't remember buying this or getting this. What the fuck? Why is this in the shoebox with all my old games?
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's the long and short of this note. Is delivery service has to be better.
We need more clarity on the delivery on the delivery system.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I'll move on. In regards to the game's like defenses after turning it on, and the defenses to turning it off, basically, I'm glad that all these are listed.
Yeah.
As this is like one of the biggest issues I've had with most video game creepypastas is that they don't affect the player.
Yeah.
And that normally they can be turned off. This one can't.
Yeah,
it's a shame it doesn't describe what happens when you try to unplug it. But I assume it'll shock you or burn you the same way it does when you try to pull the card out.
Or you unplug it and it's still rolling. You're fucked.
Yeah.
He's like, no, you.
That's the better way, actually. You're right.
I'd love that. And I also love it's like, yeah, like not only can you can you not turn off can you not turn it off? Can you not unplug the TV or anything like that? Like that, none of that matters. It's like, fine, I'll just leave. Excuse me, where's my door's a decal?
Yeah.
What the fuck? Yeah. That's even more like entrapment. Like you're fucked.
Yeah, like you go to reach the door handle, and the door handle is just like a cube that's on the texture of a door.
Yes.
Turning it does nothing. It's like, what the hell?
It's like, what the fuck? Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, also compared to other video game creepypastas, the whole house is warded so like you can't even communicate to the outside world, which is also a good touch.
Yeah. Does it say that like you can't even make calls and stuff like that? It
Yeah,
says
you can't
that, right? Yeah.
communicate.
Yeah. Thought so. Yeah. That's just like you try to get your phone. It's like no service. Like fuck. Try landline. Like no service. What the fuck?
It'd be
I'll use
funny.
my internet.
It'd be funny. You pull up your phone, you like unlock it, and it's the game, like being played.
Yes.
It's like streaming your TV.
Oh god, it's the same with your computer. Like you're like, oh fine, I'll shout out to on Facebook or like Facebook Messenger or like Discord, and you like pop up. You turn on your computer, and it immediately pops on the screen of the game.
Yeah,
It's like
every single screen in your entire house is just mirroring the game screen. You pick up a fucking calculator, and the calculator screen is showing it.
screen.
Yeah,
I think that's a little like that one's a little like ridiculous.
bruh,
But, like,
you could play Doom on a calculator.
Can
People
you?
have done it. Dude, you can play
Are
Doom
you
on
fucking
anything.
serious?
I don't know if a calculator specifically, but people have played Doom on the stupidest of things that you would not expect.
Alexa, call for help. Welcome to Halloween 64. It's like no. Play
Yeah,
it.
it's just doing like the
Skyrim thing.
I was doing it as it's like describing the I forget the term for it. It's an accessibility option in video games when you're like you're blind basically, and it's telling you what you're highlighting or like you have problems reading.
Fuck, I know what you mean. I've
It's like text to voice technically.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'm just picturing the Skyrim on anything skit, and just like except it's a horror game now. It's a horror thing, yeah. Yeah.
The other option is in regards to like can't communicate with the outside world, you can't leave. Even if I say like, well, fine, I won't play the game. That's all fine and well until you run out of food and starve to death because you're locked in there. Even if it wasn't punishing you for not paying attention.
Yeah.
Or alternatively, if time is frozen, like it's suggested in this story, because it's saying how like all the time stayed the entire time. If time is frozen, and if you theoretically weren't being punished for not paying attention, you wouldn't starve or age or anything, and you'd just be stuck there in that moment forever.
Yeah, you're
until
in hell.
You beat the game or die.
Yeah, you're in hell.
Yeah.
Also, I just realized, like so he presented itself on Sunday at 12 a.m. And then later on, it says, to be honest, I'm not sure if time even passes while playing the game, as every clock in my apartment remained at 12 while playing. So that means that like the time stopped as soon as he discovered the cartridge.
Well, or the power went out.
That too, yeah. Wait a minute! God damn you, Mandana! Stop my! God damn it! You're Mandanifying it too much.
The clocks went out. Okay. The clocks weren't out. They were frozen. If there's no power, then the lights, the clocks couldn't be lit still, unless you're assuming that every single clock in this guy's house is analog.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm saying that the power flickered. And
I see what you mean.
Yeah. They're flashing 12 because they need the time to be set on them.
I think you'd say they're flashing if that's the case.
Yeah, like there would be like 0000, like some line. But again, that's also like yeah, because I mean, at least the ones most of the clocks I have, like digital clocks I have in my house, like they don't go to like 12. Like the flashing 12, they're flashing 000s until you have to like go and reset them. And I know that's probably like 000 is also like basically like it's the default, like it's at the beginning.
It's also midnight.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
It's also joking if you weren't aware.
It went over my head. I'm sorry.
It's fine. So my next note is I was starting a death counter for him.
Oh no!
Because I didn't know whether the story was going to be like actually counting the deaths correctly.
Thorough walkthrough, yeah.
Yeah. And I miscounted technically because the story itself doesn't specifically say every single death that happens to him. Because like walks into the darkness on the street, he dies.
Yep.
Then he talks about how if you lose concentration while running down the street for 7 hours, you die.
Mhm.
That's 2. And then it goes to level 2, and it says if you get up to get a coat or check your thermostat, you lose a life. That would theoretically be 3. If you equip a weapon for suicide, you die. Obviously, that'd be 4. But he said that he lost 4 lives in level 2, and when he got to level 3, he had 2 lives left. So I'm assuming he lost concentration like 3 times when walking down the street, or like he got up to get a coat, came back, lost a life. Shit. Well, maybe let's see if the thermostat works. Gets up, checks his thermostat, comes back. Shit, that goes another life.
Yeah.
And then like he equips a weapon, it kills himself. He's like, shit. What about this other weapon? Shit. Okay, fine. And then he's down to 2 at that point.
Yeah.
Which is, I assume, how that works.
Yeah, I'm assuming some of the examples he's giving are things that he came across or he did by accident.
Yeah. And some of them are repeated. Like most of these are losing lives through loss of concentration one way or another, I assume.
Yeah.
And then speaking of loss of concentration, it says you will hear doors in your house open and close, footsteps, even familiar voice whispers in your ear. Do not lose concentration or you'll lose more lives.
That'd be so
terrifying. I assume this is lost through, like, if you take your eyes off the screen for too long, it just removes a life for you not paying attention. And I like that aspect because it's forcing the character to watch it, which is, as I said before, something that most video game creepypastas don't address, the fact that you can just look away.
Yeah,
and
this
there's
game
no
is like
detriment. Yeah,
absolutely. Again, that's one thing I love. Like that's why I was trying. For some reason, I didn't have it in my notes initially, or I forgot to read it through my notes of that part. That's what I love about this story is like it's addressing a lot of the gripes that we've had over the years of Vigipastas and like the scenario and that it entails. It's like, why don't you do this? Oh, this is why you can't do that. Why don't you do this? Oh, that's why. Like it's explaining like it's like making it almost like it's like, yes, it has all these tropes. But it also here's to explain why those tropes are enforced in the game.
Yeah, because with most video game creepypastas, it's akin to just me booting up Resident Evil. You know, creepy things are happening on the screen. I'm gonna go make a sandwich. I can pause it and come back. Like it doesn't matter.
It's something like I brought up, I think earlier this week, like off recording, was like a lot of Vigipastas. I mean, I love Vigipastas. I love video game creepypastas. Like it's sort of a guilty pleasure. But I also acknowledge that a lot of them, at the end of the day, are basically just like twisted, dark, like creepy fanfics of video games that somebody loves, and they decide to make into like a creepy game. Like and like Spyro.exe, Sonic.exe.
How dare you? That's lesser bad, but yes.
But like even like other things, like even Ben Drown to a degree, it's a good one. Like it's not bad, but it's like it's at the end of the day, it's again like that's sort of the whole genre of Vigipasta, of Vigipastas is it's a video game that you liked, and now I'm going to twist that nostalgia on its head. Like I'm going to subvert the normal expectations of the video game and make it a horror game. And this story, like it uses those tropes, but then it also like makes it more dynamic by having it like counter the meta stuff that you can do.
Yes, which I love.
Yeah.
And then the last one is we're saying like white hot pain filled my eyes as I instantly discovered the catch of level 3. Whatever pain you inflict on the person, you will feel in reality. You will not lose any blood. You will not lose consciousness. You will not die. But you will feel every single sensation. If you take too long in between blows, your player will lose a life. So, based on the amount of lives he had left on level 3, he had 3 lives. Yeah. So, did he end with like 1 life left or 0 lives left? I don't remember.
I
completed with 1 life remaining. Yes. Yeah. So through that entire 20-minute period, he managed to only lose 1 life through like not through.
Maybe there's like a time limit. I think. Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder how much is needed to lose a life from like not stabbing again. Like how generous that bracket is, because it's probably pretty generous considering the amount of pain he's inflicting.
Yeah.
I kind of wish that he lost way more lives in this last one compared to just one.
Yeah, like if it like I had actually like by level 3, I actually been doing pretty well in the other previous levels, but level 3 is the one was the real drain on my lives.
Yeah, the last one, which is theoretically the hardest thing that you could do.
Yeah,
because it is physically hurting you, like a literal stabbing pain, feeling like a knife going in you, and
it's emotionally draining. Yeah.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the other one is just like walk this way for 7 hours. I lost 4 lives in that one. Whoops. Like.
Yeah,
What?
level 2, walk around a house level and acquire and just grab weapons, but don't equip them. Like, and it's uncomfortable, but like you just got to find all the weapons. It's basically a scavenger hunt. That's not too bad. How the hell did you lose lives? You honestly, like, those ones are incompetence. those are
Yeah,
incompetence
especially
levels.
because he's researched this.
Yeah,
Like, he's heard of past
encounters
of this, or at least rumors of this. So if this is anything like the previous ones, which I assume in hindsight it's not anything like the previous ones because he made these stupid mistakes, like equipping a weapon and stuff.
I just also realized, sorry, not to cut you off, but I just realized that's another trope that this story is pulling into for like Vigipastas. So there is a sort of another like series of another subgenre of Vigipastas where it's like it's almost borders like a creepy game theory. Is like every copy of this of blank game is personalized. Like it's like every like, it's a running kind of trend in like certain like video games where it's like every Fallout game is personalized, every Super Mario 64 game is personalized. Like those are like a couple of like those are the two big ones that I've heard of that trope of just like every game, every copy of this game is personalized to a person, like because there's like an AI in the game that alters the game slightly so it's personalized to you. And obviously that's completely fake and false, but like
But what if it is?
well, or if like that's sort of like that almost feels like what this is also like trying to invoke is that trope of like this game personalizes itself to the player.
It does it through magical means, which is the only way that it would actually happen in real life.
Which is fine because it's we're already dealing with some weird like psychic vampire mimic. So
yes.
Yeah, sorry. It's like you bring that up. I was like, oh.
Yeah. The TLDR on that note is, I wish he lost like 5 lives in the last level, and the other ones were just kind of a couple here and there.
Yeah.
Or he's like I ran into this level. I know from that's one thing I wish he did. I wish he referenced back to his previous knowledge, because he only does that at the very start of the creepypasta. So by the time I got to the point where he's like, I picked up a weapon, I equipped it, and I killed myself, I feel like that would have been a good time to be like, I heard rumors that in this level, if you equip any weapons, you kill yourself. So I did not do it.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't call on his previous knowledge at all.
Like maybe it's like I was like, but I didn't do it. The only reason I lost the one life from it the first time was because it auto equips, and so I had to like figure out. I had to like immediately shift to unequip the weapon as soon as I picked it up.
Yeah, or something like that.
Yeah, or maybe like you have to hold like maybe in the game you have to like hold the button down to equip to put it in your inventory versus just like a quick tap causes it to equip kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
Sort of the reverse of what
it tricks you a little bit. Yeah.
Because I know in like regular games, at least like more modern games, if you quick tap, it immediately goes to your inventory. Whereas like if you hold and click on something, it'll actually like it'll auto equip it for you. So, but yeah, I think you're right. I think a lot of there could be a little bit more of that, like of their characters like background knowledge on the game, since like they spent like a year searching it out.
Yep.
And hearing and reading like accounts of it or like legends of it or urban legends of it and stuff like that. They otherwise they're kind of like woefully and ridiculously unprepared for when they actually encounter it.
Yes. for some reason, even though he should be the most prepared out of everyone because he's been obsessed over it.
Yeah, like even the beginning where like it's when they find it, when it finds them, and they just put it in they just like they do the stupid thing and like put it in the game. I feel like there should have been a little bit extra where it's like he kind of like explains that like before but the reason he put it into the game card into the when he found it, the reason why he put it into his console in the first place was because up to that point he didn't believe any of the rumors or any of the stories.
Yeah, so he wanted to know if it was true.
Exactly, yeah. Like it was a morbid curiosity, and then this story is really just the tale of curiosity kills the cat. Unfortunately, because
it might have literally if he had a cat.
I was gonna say, unfortunately, and also that should have been something he's like should have said like it's when he brings that up was like, any pet you own will die as soon as you lose a life, and then in brackets, rip my cat Snuffles. Like that would have been like really fun because like that's again like it's a nod to like the sort of the moral of the story is like because that is sort of the moral of this creepypasta is curiosity will kill curiosity kills the cat like your his curiosity is what dooms him and presumably his pet.
Yes, although he survived, but
yeah,
the pet didn't, of course, but yeah.
Again, R.I.P. Snuffles.
Rip Snuffles.
A rip and tear.
Rip and tear Snuffles. Speaking of doom.
Yeah. But yeah.
But that's all I got for notes.
All right. Well, I suppose we'll move on to final thoughts then. Yeah, I'm still going to recommend it. It seems quite self-aware of the Vigipasta tropes and also presents this sort of walk-through ritual pasta angle. Again, we've realized it's not a ritual pasta per se; it's an instructional pasta. And yeah, so like that's kind of it's very interesting like meta commentary. It sort of feels like a love letter to those to a couple of different like creepypasta subgenres. It works for the most part. There's definitely some room for improvement that we brought up, but I definitely enjoyed the read, and I could even see using this as inspiration for a gaming scenario, like again like a Cthulhu Dark or just like a horror game scenario of some kind. It also has a level of creepiness in it, specifically in its descriptions of how things play out and horrid things that can happen to you. Like it again, it tackles the aspect that we kind of have sort of come to loathe in certain video game creepypastas, where it's like nothing physically really happens to the player. They just play this spooky game, and then it scared them or made them throw up. This game is like you die in the game, you get hurt in the game, you hurt for real. Like that kind of thing. Like I again, like it's got more impact than a lot of video game creepypastas tend to have.
Because say that like there's really visually there's nothing super creepy happening in the game itself. It's a complete opposite where most video game creepypastas nothing happens to the person, but there's a bunch of creepy shit happening on screen. This there's like unsettling shit happening on screen, like how do they know this sort of deal? Yeah. But like the creepy aspect of this is what happens to the player. Like it's completely focused on that.
Yeah, and there's also definitely like an enigma or like a mystery to the story because like where'd this game come from? We don't know. Like why is it doing this? We've kind of come up with our own theories, like it's some kind of like psychic vampire, but like or like again it's a misery machine. But yeah, I definitely like you said like it a lot of Vigipastas focus on like hyper realistic graphics and gore in the actual game, or the game's like visuals are so spooky and some of that. How could this be happening to my character in the game? Whereas in this story, like you said, it's happening to the player. Like a lot of the horror of this scenario is happening to the player more than in the game. The game is just
the player's the one that has the sanity that can be lost.
Yeah,
not
exactly.
The fictional video game character.
Yeah. Well, and even more so, like it's also like it is afflicting like not just emotional or psychic damage to this character. It's afflicting a physical harm, even though like you're not like he's not bleeding and like not getting physical like wounds, he's hurting and like he's like bleeding from the ears and such. So like it's definitely affecting him physically. But yeah, it's definitely a kind of a step above other video game creepypastas because of that.
Sure.
But that is my recommendation. Mikey, the E stands for evil.
Well, yeah. So I was just thinking about it, and what if this is more just repressed memories? So, like,
You're really just gonna die on the hill of just like mundanifying this.
yeah, like level one, the neighborhood is when he's dressed up as a 6-year-old for Halloween. What if he got lost one Halloween
Oh,
when he was 6 years old?
Yeah,
And he
there's a
was just,
reason that they're referencing it.
yeah.
yeah.
Like maybe that's
So,
what it's pulling from. Yeah.
yeah, so it's just, what if this is all just him in a therapy chair talking to his therapist because he's been hypnotized into thinking that he's playing a video game?
I mean, that's I guess that's a possibility. If you want to be
You could
lame,
also
no,
bring up
kidding.
that exact same argument with every single story ever told.
Yeah.
Well, but I want to sort of mundaify it so that basically his dog dying is basically happened when he was a kid. So it's a repressed memory, not it just dies as soon as you lose a life. Like it just I don't
Like
know.
because that's what happens when you first lose a life. Like it's his first like like life ending kind of like life ending event that like traumatize that he like trauma that he dealt
Yeah.
with. I kind of see where you're going with this. Like it's very much like that that again it's like a you're trying to make this more of like a psychological horror where it's like all in the character's head. And like all the fantastical elements are just like their delusions. I get that. I may not subscribe to it, but I get it. It
But
could make for an interesting psychological thriller or a psychological like horror story if it does kind of like present that. But I feel like the story needs to also like have that be like something at the end where it turns out like he's in a therapy chair or something like that, or like I think our session's done now, or like or game complete. Like
yeah.
Like, that
but
would
like
absolutely ruin this story,
it
in my opinion.
it would ruin this story, but like I feel like that could be an interesting take for another story. I don't want it for this
Yeah.
story, obviously, but like I could see like that being an interesting idea.
But as you pointed out, did state that you do want more. Like what happened to the cartridge?
No, okay, for clarity, I said like I wanted like to know like where like I just wanted to mention that like did it just did it vanish because it's supernatural? Like did like could you not
Yeah.
find it again? Like that's fine. Like that's all I need. I don't need it like
Yeah.
oh it was all a dream. It was all in his head. Like nothing supernatural. Fuck you, review cultist.
It could poof away in like a cloud of pink mist for all I care.
Yeah.
I just want to know where it went.
Yeah, exactly. That's all I need.
It could poof in a cloud of butterflies and leave in a pink cloud of mist. That's fine. I just want to see it come and go.
Personally, my question to you, Mikey, is who hurt you to make you want to like mundanify these things? I'm not kidding.
Have you heard him talk about any creepypasta ever?
That's true. Yeah.
That's what he do.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yes. Yeah. So while the story does focus on the character quote unquote taking damage in real life, um the fact that he basically is exhausted at the end and falls asleep, like that to me, like we're on the assumption that you die when you lose 10 lives. But what if you just fall asleep from exhaustion when you lose 10 lives?
I do like that. Like again, it's what we were saying earlier, where it's like losing all 10 lives doesn't necessarily mean like he's assuming he dies in real life.
Yeah.
But it could just be like a reset or something like that. I do like the idea. Is like his last life was when he finally killed the person on the bed, and then he just passed out from exhaustion. I think that would actually be an interesting like take for that. It's like, well, yeah, no, you don't die.
Yeah.
You just pass out.
And the other thing, what if winning the game is losing all 10 lives?
Yeah,
Well, it just the whole game complete and then he blacks out.
Yeah.
Like, could be exactly what happens when you lose your last life.
it could. Yeah, and then it
'Cause,
goes like, oh, you lost the game. Oh yeah, it could be like, okay, game complete. Yeah, it says game complete. Doesn't mean you won the game.
yeah.
It just means game complete. So like, and you lost the game. Sorry, everybody out there who just lost the game. I'm not sorry for you, Mikey. Yeah, like, and so that's why the game like knocked him out, and then it vanished and went off to somebody else because he lost it, and so now it's move on to its next the next player.
I hate that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So yeah, I guess part of it is I couldn't fully get into this. Like for me, it just didn't resonate with me, even though it did affect the main character in the real world. So I'm still not going to recommend this.
That's fair. Gamer, your final recommendation.
So, just wanting to argue with you there is like, if this whole thing is like, yeah, you win, you get knocked out, you wake up, you're fine, here's a popsicle. Like, it's completely sucking out all of the fear and worry that this entire story has been telling you the whole time. Same thing with the reveal of it being just like you're hypnotized for a therapy session. It's making the whole thing, it was all a dream and it meant nothing. Whereas the way it is now, it is left to assume that in this universe that this game exists in, this is actually a wandering mimic murdering creature that is assuming different forms of media to kill people and to torture them all the way through until their possible death, and giving them 10 lives to potentially survive, but it's still siphoning like fear and like wrecking these people by the end of it.
Yeah, it's definitely feeding off of the emotional pain of a person. That's what it seems that this thing is doing. So like, yeah, like again, like you could say that like maybe like if it does like after you lose 10 lives, it like you just black out and it moves on. Actually, no, you're right. Like because he only was down to one life, he survived because it siphoned just enough to keep itself fed, but then the person was like stalwart enough to like not like completely like die from the experience. Like 10 lives is like sort of like the bar that it has for most people to survive its vampiric siphoning of their like their mental capacities and such.
Or it's like, I mean, it's all magic and like a video game and shit. It could literally be like, how strong is this guy? How rough? I can basically see this dude's hit points, and then each of these shots takes 10% of health out. Like,
or it's so personalized. Like Rhaegar here had 10 lives. Not everybody gets 10 lives because it's based on like it's based on their tolerance level. So like, oh man, can you imagine? It's like, oh, what are you talking about? This game gave me 3 lives. Oh, man, you're really frail, like emotionally and like your constitution's not very good.
Yeah, or it's like a chain smoker or something like that.
Yeah, because again, like I kind of perceive it as like how you die is basically like because like your mind and your body have just had enough from like the fear and like the torment that you basically just like you die of a broken heart kind of thing, except like more in a more like in a less sappy way. Like you basically, because like there are instances in real life where like people have just died from like shock or like died from fright and stuff like that. So, or died from like an emotional trauma. So
Yeah,
it's that kind of thing.
but like specifically the last part, you are inflicting actual damage on yourself. That isn't. You're not. Well, I guess it is still like a mental thing because you're not taking physical damage, but you're feeling the physical damage as if you were.
Yeah, which would be very traumatic to the body, even like as a psychosomatic component, because like you're not
It's like
physically
a
getting
placebo
those.
effect.
Yeah, and there are cases where like somebody has felt like something like that where they're about to die and they've just died, like from like a heart attack or like from like their body's just like their body thinks they're dead, so they died.
Rough.
Yep. I'm more on your side than Mikey, like looking over at Mikey there with his like smug mundanity and stuff like that. I was just trying to like I was honestly just trying to like help blend the the ideas together there on his end.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Regardless, the story itself, I liked it because every single trope of video game bosses that pisses me off, this goes, yeah, no, don't do those.
Yeah.
So
or here's why those work. Here's why those tropes are there. Yeah.
We have explanations of literally everything except why he forgot all of his past knowledge, where it came from, where did it go, where did it come from? Gagadai Joe, what is it?
Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from? Kapanai Joe.
Oh yeah. So yeah, those are really the only three things that bug me about this, but everything else is done so well that I recommend it because it's a 90% there for like an ideal video game creepypasta for me.
Yeah.
And it's not even using any IP, it's just using its own thing. So there's you don't have to worry about fanboys being like, oh well, that's wrong, this is wrong. No, you're doing your own thing. It could be whatever the hell you want.
Yeah, it's making up its own little game, that and it can alter it to personalize to the player or to the victim. Yeah. No, I get you. Yeah.
So yeah, I fully recommend this one.
All right. Well then, I guess that'll be 2 recommendations and 1 non-recommendation.
Question, Mikey. After all this, you're still like fully not recommending this? Just clarifying.
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
you aren't human, so I shouldn't I shouldn't expect to be able to understand your complex thoughts. That's fine.
Yeah. I don't know. Like if it instead of game complete said feeding complete, that would lend to that would very much lend to cultist's idea of a vampire.
Yeah.
Then it's just like outwardly saying it, and then it's like there's no mystery anymore. Like,
yeah, again, like
it basically programmed this quote unquote game to look like a game as it's going through. So like people could assume it one way or another, you know.
Yeah.
When people recount the tale of what happened.
Yeah, it's sort of like again, it depends. Again, it also depends on like again your personal like preference to these kind of things because like again, not I love video game creepypastas, but like Mikey doesn't really. Sometimes Mikey doesn't care for them, so like
I can't stand them either.
Yeah. What? Really?
The guy called the gamer in yellow. No, I hate video game shit.
Yeah, I know.
It's just a bit.
Yeah. Now, if you go, mind, I'm going to go after this recording. I'm going to go read a book.
Yes, indeed.
But yeah, no. But like, it depends on like time and time again. Mikey and I have like we butt heads on these kind of like genres of game of creepypastas and like even like the different types. So like. I get where he's going. Like he doesn't like really care for some of the tropes and stuff like that. And even though this one kind of tries to fix those tropes, like there's still those tropes and stuff like that. So
yeah, everyone likes their own things. Like I know that like there have been a couple of stories where you guys loved it, and because I saw something completely wrong right at the start, it completely ruined my enjoyment of the entire story.
Yeah.
Like that's happened multiple times, so I get it. I'm just shocked.
But yeah, like I said, that'll do it for this week's episode. So if you like what you heard, or if you didn't, leave a comment in the comment section below. This gets posted. We're all on Twitter. Mikey's at the Stands for Evil. The Gamer in Yellow is at the Gamer in Yellow, but without that W at the end because his name is very long.
I'm not really there, but it's fine.
It's you have an account still.
Yeah.
You occasionally check it, like once in a blue moon. Speaking of blue moons, I'm also on top of being on Twitter as Review Cultist. I'm also on Blue Sky as Review Cultist. So you can send us messages there. You can also send us emails at aldenterigamortis@gmail.com. That's ALDENTERIGAMORTS@gmail.com, where you can also do suggestions for other creepypastas, SCPs, spooky things. You creep it, we'll peep it. Yeah! And if you'd like to help support our show financially, you can go to Patreon. Select the backer tier you'd like to support us at. We have special episodes, early access, and extra content. To all our patrons that help support the show, thank you immensely. You're helping keep those hosting bills at bay, and as always, we very much appreciate that. And to the listeners and authors of these stories, thank you immensely, because without your listenership, it'd be like screaming into the void. And without your authorship, without posting these stories or writing and typing and posting these stories online and sharing them with the internet, we really wouldn't have much of a show because we'd have nothing to talk about. So thank you. Until next time, I have been your host, Review Cultist.
I'm Mikey, the E stands for Evil.
I'm the Gamer in Yellow.
And this has been Al Dente Rigamortis. Sleep well. So tonight we have Halloween 64. What the fuck? Hang on, guys. Got a knock at the door.
Okay. Take your time, I guess.
Yeah, hang on. Hey, take you guys with me on the recording. Yeah, here we go. What the fuck? Oh god!
Elvis? Hello? Did you hear that too, Mikey?
Yeah, it was weird.
Should I go check on him?
Well, you are closer.
Oh.
Okay. I'm gonna go
Hello?
get my shit
Hey,
right now.
you guys? Hey,
Hello. Hi. Welcome back.
thanks.
What the fuck was that?
So, that wasn't the the cultists you guys have been talking to for like a while, I guess now. What? I guess
Yeah, we've been recording episodes for like what,
probably
12 years or some shit.
well, no, like for the last few months, I think. That wasn't. I mean, it was me, but it wasn't. It was like an echo. It's a lot to. I've been somewhere called the Backlogs for a couple of, I guess, for a couple of months now.
Yeah, we found your recordings and you came back.
What? Record? You
we
found
we
my
found your recordings that
what
you.
record? I mean, I wrote some stuff down. I didn't record anything. So yeah, I guess that was past me. That there was a kerfuffle in the backlogs. I encountered one of my echoes. Like, it's a little bit whole thing to explain. And I guess it got out ahead of me and has been on the show for the last couple of months. Recording for you guys?
It.
No. I wish it was.
Okay.
So yeah, I got the body there. Ooh, I got to get a mop for that.
What'd you do to it?
Listen, like I had to put it down. It was me or it or him.
I know that you're you and you're not it or him.
I mean, I'm not. I'm present me. God, I hope there's not a oh God.
Sure you are.
Future me's not. Anyway, there's a lot of semantic like meta shit for that. But yeah, after I gotta do a transfer thing with it, and like get all its memories so I have them. And then I gotta bury the body. Gamer, I'm gonna have to if you can come over at some point. We need to bury a body. Yeah.
Yeah, sure, anytime.
And
no problem.
I guess you guys are doing an episode, aren't you? Halloween 64.
Yeah, it's a video game for your boss.
I'll have
that you
to
want in?
read it. It doesn't look too long. Okay.
Yeah, we can chill.
We'll take a minute, and I'll get back to you guys on this. I guess. Are you guys recording? Yeah. Wow, you guys are recording this. I guess we'll put this in the outro for this episode. But yeah, good to be back. Yeah. Thanks for not trying to search for me, guys. But I guess you guys had one of me here.
Yeah, you were here, so we didn't have to search for you.
What's this? So what's this about recordings of like, like you guys knew that I was in the backwoods, or like you saw like you saw something about that?
Yeah. We got a package from Left Town.
Son of a bitch.